And of course, campaigning continues across the country where political parties are still vying for the votes of potentially undecided voters in South Africa. One such political party being the MK Party. They had their party manifesto launched today in Orlando Stadium in Soweto. And Canny Maphanga, SABC reporter, was there today to experience it all. Big turnouts, surprisingly big, I will say. A stadium is not an easy feat to fill up. MK filling that up on the eve of election is a signifier of something major, but it was all about the manifesto. How was the message of it received?
Well, indeed, they did start earlier this morning from 8 a.m. and we only saw the former president then address those supporters after 3 p.m. So they had some time to fill up that stadium. I think it's a capacity of about 37,000 or just about 37,000, and there were a few empty seats that were left by the time that the former president had taken the podium. I'm not sure whether the buses came just from the Gauteng province or whether there were supporters from other provinces that came to support the MK as it chose Orlando as a place to launch their manifesto. As you know, that place is rich in history, particularly with the armed military wing of Umkhonto weSizwe, that is the wing of the governing party. And he started that manifesto with that history lesson, if I could put it that way, to bring voters back to where we came from and where we are going now. But it seems that that manifesto actually centered on, if I could term it as the black experience, which some may argue that in 2024, while there have been gains in the democratic dispensation, you still get a majority that are still suffering, living in poverty, having to deal with a number of the socioeconomic challenges that we are faced with in the country. So you can see that that manifesto speech was trying to tug at the heartstrings of that majority, asking that community to unite to achieve that two-thirds majority in the May polls when we hit there from the 27th of May.
Look, over the last couple of months, it has been incredibly difficult to tell what MK actually stands for and what the value proposition to the South African voters were. You found out about the party as and when Jacob Zuma felt he wanted to share about the party. And every once in a while, he would say something seemingly outrageous or something that resonates with its voter base, such as when they come into power, that they will undo same-sex marriage, for instance, that they would put girls who fall pregnant or girls who fall pregnant during teenagehood into some sort of concentration camp on Robben Island, and all these sorts of things have been said over the last couple of months. The manifesto is supposed to be a single document encapsulating the entire vision of the party. Does it do that? Does it do it well enough? Or and does it include some of the stuff we have heard over the last couple of months? Or is it a much more refined document than what we've heard?
Well, you're absolutely correct, Oliver. When you are going to these manifesto launches, you're expecting a concise, detailed plan on how to address the number of challenges or how you're going to provide the solutions to the various challenges. And we have seen Umkhonto weSizwe, even though it's a newly formed political party, I think about 6 months old at this stage, has been a bit all over the place in discussing the issues that they seek to address, but there is a common theme and a common audience in which they choose to address when they speak of these various challenges, and hoping for that united vote when we head to those May polls, seeking that two-thirds majority by, as I explained earlier, tugging at the heartstrings of the majority that have still suffered under those socioeconomic challenges despite the gains we've made as a democracy. So while it is all over the place, there could be attributed to the fact that it is a newly formed political party. It was only endorsed by the former president in December, and we only really started seeing it do the active campaign and be all over the length and breadth of the country from January this year. And we've seen them get to this point, and we'll see at the May polls whether this message that was delivered today actually translates to the voters of South Africa
just
when they head to the polls.
Before I let you go, did you get to speak to people, at least some of the people who rocked up at the stadium to hear this message, and ask them what their attraction to the party is, why they're there? What are some of the strong sentiments about? Because it's a brand new party. We have to recognize that it's still a brand new political party, albeit President Jacob Zuma, of course, not being a brand new political figure. Why do they find the party attractive, those who do?
Well, quite a key point that you've made, that although it is a brand new party, it is led by the former president, someone who is a known political figure in our country. A large presence of what we saw was religious leaders, interfaith leaders, as well as indigenous groups, that is the Khoisan. And you may remember in 2012, I think that was a State of the Nation address there, where he addressed this need for the recognition of the indigenous groups. And some of those indigenous groups rather feel that that work is not yet done. And we've seen the former president say that there's a lot of things that he started in his presidency that he would like to achieve. And it is those particular groups that we see a common theme in, and a common large number of supporters arriving in support of former President Jacob Zuma to realize their interests in this current democratic dispensation. So a lot of those groups, and we'll see how that translates in the May polls. As you know, that churches lead huge communities, so do traditional leaders, and then of course the indigenous group, although it is a small group, that is still a significant voice in the fabric of our society.
Canny, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. That was SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga.